Today, we're discussing the Biden campaign's post-debate damage control, the Supreme Court's rulings on Chevron Deference and January 6 obstruction charges, and other top news for Monday, July 1st. Stay informed while remaining focused on Christ with the pour-over today. Here's the quote of the day. Of all things, guard against neglecting God in the secret place of prayer. William Wilberforce. Let's get started with some espresso shots. Biden and co. are trying to right the ship. After a much-criticized debate performance Thursday night, Presidents Clinton and Obama both released statements supporting President Biden, praising his candidacy while acknowledging that bad debate nights happen. At a rally in North Carolina Saturday, Biden offered a similar explanation, saying, "I don't debate as well as I used to, but I know what I do know. I know how to tell the truth." This came after multiple prominent Democrats wondered if his campaign could survive, and others, including the New York Times editorial board, directly called for Biden to drop out of the race before the Democratic National Convention formally selects him as their nominee in August. Biden has publicly remained committed to re-election, but reportedly met with his family at Camp David yesterday to discuss the future. As the presidential election continues to heat up, there will be a lot of perspectives. You'll have your own. Remember that both your stance and how you take your stance reflect on Christ. Every Moment Holy, Volume 3, page 376 says, "O Lord, let those who claim your name do no harm to it by their abrasiveness and impatience. Speaking your precious truth in love, let them present your story winsomely, that it might be well loved, and that others might be drawn to your goodness, your beauty." The Supreme Court's 9 robed justices handed down a trio of big decisions on Friday. First up, Chevron Deference. Nope, it has nothing to do with interior design or gas stations. Chevron is a much-cited 1984 precedent-setting decision that said that courts should defer to administrative agencies' interpretation of ambiguous laws. The court ruled 6-3 along ideological lines, with a consecutive majority saying that legal interpretation is a power of the judicial branch, not the executive. The ruling is a boon for businesses, but Biden's administration says it will lead to policy paralysis because Congress will have to make extremely specific laws for agencies to take action. Now, homelessness. In another 6-3 ideological line vote, conservative justices upheld an Oregon city's right to fine people who are homeless for camping on public property. The liberal justices dissented, saying sleep is a biological necessity, not a crime. And finally, January 6 charges. After the January 6th riot, hundreds of people were charged with obstruction of an official proceeding. On Friday, the court ruled the charge only applies in cases where evidence or documents are withheld. Prosecutors estimate the ruling impacts 250 of the 1,400 people charged in January 6th cases, possibly reducing or eliminating their prison sentences. Prosecutors also say it won't affect charges against former President Trump since his case does involve documents, fake elector ballots. Expect more legal battles on that. What's next? The Supreme still have 3 open cases, including Trump's presidential immunity case, which are expected to be decided today. They'll then break until October 7th. Culturally hot topics like Supreme Court rulings frequently make people think, speak, and act poorly, including us. We can respect others and represent God better if we are quick to listen and slow to speak. James 1:19 and 20 says, "My dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness." Sometimes it feels like money doesn't stretch very far these days, but when you sponsor a child through Compassion International, just $43 per month is crazy powerful. Sponsorship means education, clean water, healthy food, medical care, and most importantly, hope. Through local churches in the area, sponsored children build relationships with Jesus-loving adults who can offer the specific support kids need to thrive. Not sure where to start? Go to compassion.com/TPO Or find the link in the show notes and search by birthday to see if there's a child with your birthday that needs a sponsor. In other brews, here's a rapid round of updates. Hurricane Beryl just became the first Atlantic hurricane to reach Category 4 strength in June. The storm is expected to slam Caribbean nations with winds up to 156 miles per hour and a storm surge up to 9 feet this morning. Barbados, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenada, Tobago, Martinique, Dominica, and Trinidad are under hurricane warnings and tropical storm watches. Iowa Supreme Court ruled the state's contested heartbeat abortion ban was illegal in a 4-3 ruling on Friday. The law reduces the gestational age restriction for abortion in the Hawkeye state from 22 weeks to 6 weeks, with exceptions for rape, incest, lethal fetal anomalies, and to protect the life of the mother. It will likely take effect later this summer. Anchors are away on the floating pier in Gaza. The U.S. removed its pier to protect it from weather, but it may not be reinstalled unless aid begins reaching the population. The military successfully offloaded desperately needed food, but most of the aid is sitting undelivered in the adjacent, almost full storage yard because distributors have come under attack. U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy declared gun violence a public health crisis, calling for a ban on assault weapons and large-capacity magazines. Enforceable gun regulation would require action from Congress, currently unlikely, or state governments, a mixed bag. Florida Governor DeSantis called the declaration an unconstitutional power grab. Swoosh, there goes 20%. Nike stock plummeted 20% on Friday, the biggest one-day drop in company history, after predicting a 10% decline in sales this quarter. The stock is down 30% so far this year. Critics say the company will keep tripping over its laces until CEO John Donahoe resigns. But Nike's founder Phil Knight says Donahoe has his full support. And that's all we have for today. Thanks so much for listening. If you're listening on the Apple Podcast app, give us a 5-star rating and drop a review. If you're listening on Spotify, give us a follow and hit the notification bell to never miss a new episode. We appreciate your support and hope you have a great day. We'll see you on Wednesday.